Well, here's the post-war celebration Lionel conventional ballast tamper, number 54. When it first, and it was manufactured in 2002. When I took it out of the box and put it on the track, although, and I'll show this to you later, although I triggered it so that the ballast tampers would actually tamp when it was running, it turned out that they weren't, no matter what position the switch was in. It behaved like this. Even though they should have been tamping, they weren't. I mean, it should have looked like this. And when that switch is thrown, it slows the tamper down. So let me take you on a quick tour. Right here is a switch, and there's a little device that you would put next to the conventional track, and as the ballast tamper went by, you could turn the ballast tampers on or off. Well, in the case of when it arrived, as I said, they were not operating, in, no matter what the position of that switch was. So I assumed that there was some mechanism that engaged and disengaged the tampers, and so I took the top off for a couple of reasons. One, I wanted to lubricate it, and two, to see if there was something I could easily fix. And it turned out that there was. This little rubber band connects the gears to the tamper, and that was very loose and hanging very loosely. It was old. As I mentioned, the tamper was built in 2002, and that rubber was 20 years old. So I went online, eBay, I found an O-ring, replaced the O-ring, put it together, lubed it up, oiled it up, put it on the track, and it worked fine. As soon as I put the power on, the ballast tampers were working. But they wouldn't shut off no matter what position the switch was in. And what I realized is that these gears are very sensitive, and you have to be careful about how you set it to run when you finally put the top back on. There's a very little space between engaging and disengaging those gears. And so once I did that, then it operated just as I showed you earlier in the two videos, where it was actually operating and not operating. That was because I had thrown the switch accordingly and the gears were operating properly. So no big deal, but one of those wonderful things about post-war Lionel engines and accessories, they pretty much were bulletproof, and if something broke down, it's not that difficult to open up the shell and diagnose the problem. And parts are still readily available. So, okay, well, I thought I'd show you how easy it is to actually assemble and disassemble this. I had it apart. I put that O-ring on, as I explained, and oiled and greased it up. And if you look at the bottom, there are two screws that go into the chassis here, and then two tabs. I don't know how easily you can see them, but they're little hook sort of things, and they go into these slots over here in the base of the ballast tamper. So you kind of position them appropriately and slide them down and push the top forward so it secures itself, and then just put in the two screws and you're assembled.